Welcome to the Men's Room Podcast, where real men come together to talk about life, fatherhood, marriage, friendship, and everything in between. I'm your host, Chad Henderson, and here we will dive into conversations that most men never get to have. Honest, sometimes raw, but always real. This space is brought to you by Chad Henderson Coaching, where I'm building something different. No big teams, no gimmicks, just real support, real learning, and real life coaching for men who want to show up as better husbands, fathers, and friends. So if you're ready to jump in and get real, let's do it. Hey guys, welcome back to the Men's Room. Brett and Teron are with me here today. We've had a couple of our other folks have to bounce off this week. Brett, Teron, how you guys doing?
Man, no complaints here. I could complain a little bit, but most time folks aren't listening. I'm doing all right though. Grand scheme of things, I'm doing all right.
Yeah, Teron, good to see you, man. You look good.
Yeah. Trying to keep up with you.
Yeah, same here. Things are good. The kids and family are healthy this week. So that's always it's primary number one is the family health and wellness. And so they're good this week. Always trying to find sleep and find rest, but that's the ever changing thing with being a father of young kids. But overall, yeah, things are all right here. So
good.
How you doing, dude?
Things are always good over here. Always a little crazy. I'm always up to my next big idea. But yeah, things are good. The kids, school was a decent week. That's kind of like my barometer. Yeah. Gregory started some soccer games this week. We've been practicing all winter with no games. So he got to play an outdoor game, and now this weekend he's got 4 games, 2 on Saturday, 2 on Sunday. So kind of looking forward to, we're just starting the age where, they're going to have some of those weekend events, which I'm sure I'll be bitching about it in like 4 years. But right now I'm excited about it.
4 is generous.
4 is generous. That's
6
very
weeks.
True. That is true. Hey, Teron, your Bulls shirt reminded me. Did you see these White Sox Bulls uniforms that they made?
I did, man. It's slick, man.
I know. I was jealous it wasn't
slick,
the Cubs.
Yeah. I'm not a White Sox fan though, so I'm trying to square that circle a little bit. I don't have anything against them. I just don't have anything for them. It's just it's
where's your fandom for baseball?
Cubs.
Oh, really? See, if I would have been Cubs, I would have bought one. That day, but I can't be caught around in a White Sox. Nothing. No way.
Too many people looking at me. Just can't do it.
Yeah. Sports was fun this week, just in general. I will say that. Brett, do you watch much sports?
I watched the Masters.
Oh yeah, that was fun.
Yeah. That's about it.
We didn't get a chance to get a Brett reaction. He missed the last podcast, so what did you think? Rory won it. Were you crying in your living room, or were you disappointed?
Oh no, I was ecstatic. I mean, I might see that one more time in my lifetime. Somebody doing that. So it was just incredible. So no, it was magical. It was good. I mean, despite whether I don't know if you're a diehard fan or you hate Rory or whatever, but I thought it was just really, really cool to see somebody do it. So
for sure.
Yeah, last one was Tiger.
What I love?
So
somebody said this was better than Tiger's 2019 Masters, and I just want to say no, that's not true at all.
No.
However, nothing will beat that moment, at least for me. But when he made the putt, what I felt I could relate to was the relief of so much pressure just falling off of his shoulder. You could just tell it wasn't about it just wasn't about sports in that moment. That dude beat everything to get to that. That was his main goal in life, was that moment.
Yeah, and the grind he had, missing. I mean, it was all, far from a perfect round.
Horrible round.
The mental,
horrible round.
The mental strength it took for him to see that through was, just as much as the physical. That's a huge part of the game, and he really showed up in terms of failing, water, hazards, missing, and then he comes and still finishes through. So yeah, it was a good one for me. Doesn't beat Tigers by any means, but it was really cool to see.
Yeah, no, I agree. I agree. And then the Timberwolves knocked off the Lakers, which I was pumped to see. I don't really have a lot of fandom in Minnesota. I've tried to make some connections since I got here. I am enjoying this Anthony Edwards Timberwolves run. Like, I might even buy myself a Timberwolves shirt. It was a little painful seeing LeBron go down. What'd you think? What'd you think of that, Teron?
I was okay with it.
Yeah.
I was as a as a diehard Jordan stan, like I was okay with seeing um, the Lakers get knocked off. I just was. But here's the thing, right? Like, hateration aside, I thought that the Timberwolves, they played a more complete series. They had phenomenal coaching. Their rotations were what they needed to be when they needed to be them.
Sure.
And at the end of the day, they put more points up than the other team, and that's usually who wins the game. So I mean, you add it all together, and they put in work, and they were the more deserving group that night.
I heard some hidden stuff in there. Are you a LeBron hater?
I wouldn't. Okay, so here's the deal. I don't like any player from any sport. I don't like it when they embellish anything.
Oh,
Right?
yeah.
So call it like I don't know, a toxic trait of mine, but I hate the idea of, as a competitor, right, pretending to be hit or bumped or touched so
Are you
severely
implying that
I have to,
LeBron
like,
flops? Are you
at some
implying?
point I have to say that I am stronger than you, and I don't care how hard you hit me, I'm not gonna go down. Definitely not gonna pretend that you're that much stronger than me, or I'm that much weaker than you
Yeah.
to allow you to put me on the floor. I just can't. The competitor in me just won't allow it. Now, I would imagine LeBron's competitor is probably bigger than mine. That's why he is where he is. But I just can't allow. I don't love the idea of someone like being touched and going, "Ooh, out that hurt," and like they fall
What
down.
about LeBron the person? Do
Love
you have a
LeBron
different
the person.
opinion? Okay.
Love LeBron the person. I hope he encounters every good thing and then some, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely love the man. Love the man, love his family, love what they stand for, love that he is for the community and everything he's putting into it.
Oh, that's cool.
On the floor, throw some
I thought I was
popcorn.
going to get to call you out for being a full LeBron hater. All right.
On the court only.
All right. Well, guys, I can't talk about sports the whole time. I mean, we could.
Could.
Different
Good.
podcasts.
It's not the theme of the podcast, but we could.
It's not. It might actually be a little bit of the opposite. But so I've been thinking a lot about connection, getting back into golf season, and starting to connect with some folks that I haven't seen over the winter, because I feel like when you take golf away, like, we don't really see each other. But just connection in general. Let's talk about like how we show up as parents and husbands in those relationships. We're managing a lot of relationships just in general. For some of us, we got parent relationships that we're managing. We've got friend relationships. I think sometimes we're also to the age where those start to take a back seat. How do you guys go about focusing your time and energy with your kids and your partner? Tough question, right? Like, such an open-ended question.
Yeah.
Like, what do you think about? Like, do you have a specific time that you prioritize with your partner? Do you guys have that set aside?
We're trying to. Like, I'm at the place where, so I've got the 19-month-old, I've got the 6-year-old. So we're like in this cycle of like 10 years. It feels like will be of just focusing on the kids. But we do try to like carve out time where, grandparents, babysitter can, take the kids and we can, focus on us. But it takes takes a lot of effort, takes a lot of planning, sometimes it takes money to
That's
prioritize it,
it
but
right
it's
there. That's the
right.
problem. I wouldn't
But
have any
it's
problem setting time aside. Like it's the money. $100
yeah,
just to pay for the babysitter.
yeah, but it's important. And so we're trying to do that. We're getting better at it. I think with the second kid than we were with the first. The first kid, it was like we were in the middle of baby was having some health issues, so it was just like we were in the trenches in the first one, and so our relationship really took a back seat because we were just full on parents. We weren't husband and wife really. It was just parents, and we just were so focused on the kids. But now with the second one coming along, we're a little better place mentally, and so I think we're doing a better job at managing, our relationship as husband and wife. Friends and family. Family, obviously, we try to really, connect with our families often. The closer they are to us, the easier it is with the young kids. But we try to do that. And then, as you mentioned, Chad, like friends taking the backseat. Like we're at the place now where we're trying to like re-engage friendships because we feel it's like we need those. So trying to get into our communities with the church, our communities with just with our neighborhood. So we're at the point now where we're trying to re-engage with those where it's kind of taken a backseat for the last 6 or 7 years.
Dude, it has to. I mean, it has to. You have to adjust. I appreciate the honesty and all that, man. That's cool.
For sure, right? And I mean, Brett, like you called out something that like a lot of folks don't necessarily think about as we go into these new eras of our relationship with our partners, and that is the malleability of what our relationship will look like as we introduce new members to the team. So 1 + 1 = 1, right? When you get together, right? And then 1 + 1 somehow turns into 3 all of a sudden, right? And so the math is all funny and funky. And we're trying to figure out how do we like hold on to senses of identity and self, while also making sure that, this life that quite literally depends on you for everything, doesn't slip between the cracks. And, that's a conversation or there's a concept sometimes that we don't even know to think about until we're in it, because no one gives you a heads up. No one tells you about the vulnerabilities that it takes, because like maybe we don't want to talk about the vulnerability. Maybe we don't want to talk about our failures, right? But we all go through it, right? So that I appreciate that framing of it, because I think every relationship that invites in a new ends up, having to struggle with that, having to grapple with that. So that's a very real concept to throw out there into the world.
Yeah. When I play golf, I ask a lot of questions of the people I'm playing with, and I get paired up. I don't have a foursome usually, so I get paired up with some older guys, but people kind of all over the place. And I can't tell you the number of people who have told me a story that they were married for 20 years and then got divorced. And like, as somebody who is celebrating 15 years, and I even like just had to do the math in my head again to make sure that was right, because that's a big, we talked about that a couple times. Some of those numbers will scare you, right? I've been married 15 years, and just the idea that you could, 20 years makes sense, right? Like, what happens at 20 years? Most of the time, your kids are probably like come and gone, and like you're realizing that you're maybe in your 50s, maybe 60s. Like, you don't get another go at this. Mm-hmm. So either things are heading in the direction you always planned, or it's time to divert. So I think a lot about the lessons that I can learn from those folks, because he's like, the one guy was like, oh yeah, and then like you had your retirement all set, you were getting ready to go into it, and then you split everything in half. Your credit score is terrible. He's like, you can't retire anymore, so now you're working longer because your marriage didn't work out. So I try and invest a lot of time in making sure that's a focus of my relationship, and really making sure that it sounds silly to even just say it, but like growing together is harder than it looks, right? Like your interests changed, your desires changed, your tastes change. Like, you might not even like the same foods. It's crazy to me. Like, it makes sense how you could get to that place, but if you're not like allowing the person to be themselves, and like, I don't know. I just think about a lot of those relationships. I said a lot.
Yeah, no, man, like, cause listen, they when most people are asked if they know what the secret of a healthy or good relationship is, I would wager to bet that what more than half, close to 67% of people would probably say something like communication. Well, if that many people say it, it ain't no damn secret, right?
Right.
The secret of a good relationship is that it's hard, right? Like it's hard. Like we get tricked into thinking that issues wrap up, you know, in 21 or 43 minutes plus commercials. We get tricked into thinking that the story always has a perfectly happy ending. We get told stuff like never go to bed mad and all these things that like aren't necessarily realistic. But if you believe them to be true and then you come out the other side having not experienced that, you feel cheated, right? So the hard part of relationships and seeing folks, 20, 25, 30 years in and you know, stepping away from one another, uh, I think a couple of things could be at play there, right? Right. There's certainly times where like it's too much. There's abuse. There's
Oh,
all sorts of like
100%.
walk away,
Yeah.
please get out. Um, and I'm sorry that you had that experience. And then there are other times too where, right, like there's a betrayal or a hurt that's so deep that it can't be worked past. That's I get it. For some people that's a thing.
Yeah.
And then there's also this group too where you can control the things that you can control, right? And uh, if that means my wife and I, so Dee and I, we have couch time, right? So every night we try to get the kids in bed by about 8:30. We sit with them for about 10 minutes. And so we then are back on the couch by about 9 o'clock. And sometimes it's a conversation. Sometimes it's just sitting next to each other, but we always have couch time. We might be on our phones during couch time, but we are next to each other for couch time. Um, I've been writing my book. So just finished up my book and so I get up every morning at about 5:15ish, 5:30ish to start writing the book. Dee will get up at about 6:15, and every morning she will come down to the office and she will spend 5 minutes, 10 minutes just talking, just recapping, and that's become part of our rhythm.
Yeah.
Right. So it's those little things that become big things, right? I now look forward to hearing like the footsteps come down the stairs, knowing, oh, there she comes. Like we're about to have a conversation. We're about to check in with each other and just, connect real quick, right? That sort of stuff, the things that we can control goes a really long way, right? And then to the other question about, relationships with people outside of your, nuclear family or immediate family. I think sometimes the best relationships are the ones that understand that we can be called in different directions, and it doesn't mean we love you any less. It's just that our priorities are here and not there right now. So, my one of my best friends in the world is Reggie, and Reggie and I don't have to talk to each other every single day to know that we're still great friends, right? We know that we're here for each other. We got each other's backs. I will periodically, though, like scroll through my phone and randomly select a contact and just send a text like, hey, it's been a minute. Hope all's good. Just checking in. Don't want anything. Just wanted to let you know. Love you. Hope all is well. Peace. Sometimes they respond back. Sometimes they don't, but it's good for me.
Yeah. I try and do that. If I think of someone, I try and pick my phone up and text them. Now I have bad ADHD, so sometimes I get the phone up and by the time I forgot what I was going to do or whatever. But yeah, I try and keep those up, and I think that's important. 100%. Man, you said so much in there. What are your thoughts, Brett? Before I just like take over this space.
No. I mean, I think those routines are things that you can control in your marriages and your relationships. Allie and I we try to find things that we can do together, find things that we both are interested together, then we're more likely to connect on it. If it's a show, if it's a series, if it's a book, whatever, it really doesn't matter. We just try to find ways to connect and talk to each other about things of interest that are not about the kids. And that sounds selfish, but it's not about the kids, nothing to do with them. And it's just her and I, because like you said, Chad, like, you know, down the line here, it's going to be just her and I. And if we want it to work, if we want it to be good for us as a family, as a, you know, husband and wife, we got to work on it. You can't just be lazy about it. Because then you're going to wake up and you're going to wonder who the heck you're living with.
That's right.
You know, when they leave, when your kids leave, you're going to look over and like, oh my gosh, I haven't.
And I think that's what happens. I mean,
Right?
honestly, I think if
you
you
look
weren't
over, you
working
don't
on
know
it,
'em.
if you're focused on the kids, you know, your conversations can very easily become logistics conversations. And I'm sure people listening can relate to that. If you don't take the time to make sure they're not always logistics conversations, or that it still comes back to the other part.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, if I look through, if I look through my phone and the text messages to my wife, like, you know, I am like always like trying to find something that's unrelated, that's funny, that's meaningful, that's sweet, not about when the groceries, when the kids, when this, when's that, what's this. It's hard, but if you're intentional about it, you know, you can get into good habits. But
Totally.
Yeah, instead of like we talk about them as being our partners, but I think sometimes it's important for us to specify what kind of partners, right? Like not our business partners that we come to for, you know, logistics and X, Y, and Z only, right? Or any other kind of, like, these are our life partners. These are people we said, hey, I chose you, you chose me, and we chose each other forever.
Right.
With that comes this commitment that both of us will pour into each other's cups and, you know, not look at the other as the, you know, my wife isn't my partner, or my wife isn't my mother, my wife isn't my maid, right? Like she's my partner.
Yeah.
So that reframe for me a lot of times helps too.
You know, the word partner, I started using the word partner mostly because it was a more equitable way to speak about relationships without making people think that only gay people can say partner, right? And then I realized as I got older that, like, that partnership's actually really important to me. Like, Keelan and I have been through some shit together, right? Like, and as you know, you're gonna go through everything together. But she was there even like for some of those beginning stages. But when our relationship, I don't think our relationship was super strong in college. I had a lot of stuff I needed to work through. Where our relationship really got healthy was honestly when I started taking care of some shit that I needed to take care of inside of me. Going to therapy, I can't speak to it enough, because learning about what triggers me, what is the thing. So now when I start to feel something, one, I can actually understand that I'm feeling something, but I can also understand why I'm feeling that way. And I understand that's a lot of work, or maybe it sounds basic to some folks, but I think that's a huge problem that goes wrong in relationships, because if you're not understanding why you interpret things that way or why things are happening that way, you aren't ever going to be able to not blame anybody else. I mean, like, you're going to be blaming your wife, you're going to be blaming your kids. I can't say enough for men that it's really important to stop and know yourself. And really learn about think about what you went through, think about how that impacts you every day. I think about that a lot.
Man, and across the whole damn spectrum of like what we consider masculinity to be, that framing fits everybody. I don't care if you are the quintessential alpha male, right? Bro culture, all those things, or you are the very deep and sensitive and connected with their own emotions and all those sorts of things, and everything in between, right? The idea that we are responsible for and accountable for the way that we approach situations, feelings, partners, and owning the role that we play in it is going to guarantee it will set folks up for more success more times than not, right? Pointing the finger outward is, you know, maybe it saves you a little bit of heartache because you don't have to examine or explore, you know, what role you played in the thing.
Yeah.
But when you do the work, the person work, the real work of looking inward and going, okay, well, what do I need to shift, or what do I bring to the table? How could I have done that differently? It makes all the difference in the world.
Yeah. You brought up a good thing though too. You were talking about Reggie. First of all, I think I worked in colleges for like 8 years. Reggie might be the goofiest kid that I ever met as a college student. Is he still that goofy?
You're not wrong. You're not wrong.
I would love that.
And what is it? What's leopard doesn't change his spots?
I love it. He's got kids now though.
Oh yeah.
I bet they love that goofy guy. So also incredibly intelligent. No insult to Reggie, if any, but he's an amazing character. Yeah, for sure. So but the relationships piece, I think about how you have different kinds of friends, right? Like you have friends of convenience, and like, not to offend anyone on this, but like a lot of times, like the people in your community, those can become deeper relationships. But if they live across the street, it's easier to be your friend. Like we literally live here together. Like when my kids are in bed and I go outside, you're outside too. And then you've got friends that like you keep those relationships long term. And I used to be a person, Teron, who like, if I didn't hear, I might still be this person. If I don't hear from you, I just assume you hate me. If I'm not hearing from you, I assume that like you learned something about me, you can't stand me anymore. And obviously that's why Teron's not calling anymore.
You're right. I clearly did something wrong.
I did something to cause this. And then you see those people and you realize like, oh man, that story was totally fucking made up. Like I made that up in my own head. Like Teron's got his own life, just like I have my own life. I mean, that's a good feeling, but remembering that it's tough. Yeah. It can be hard for some folks. I don't think, like, I felt like you said it in a really easy way. Like, you seem to have a really good touch with that, and grateful for the fact that a couple of your friends at least do. But not everyone is like that.
No.
Have you ever run into folks that aren't?
Well, here's the deal, right? Our friends are all at different walks too, right? They not, in addition to the baggage that we all bring along with us, right? So, we at some point we'll have to unpack the whole like, oh, we haven't spoken in a week. What did I do wrong to hurt you? Sort of thing that we both go through, that many of us go through, right? We're gonna have to unpack that baggage at some point, right? But short of that, right? Other folks are going to bring their own baggage and their own experiences along with them. Couple that with the fact that, D and I have 2 kids. Well, Reggie and his wife have 3. I don't know what that's like. Yeah. My other friend from college that I really love, he ain't got no kids. Right? Like his availability looks a whole lot different than my availability looks, right? The other friend isn't even married. He's not married. So he doesn't have any idea of the way that, I have to walk through this world. But we're still
I have a friend who's got 2 little kids, right? Like a 1-year-old and a 3-year-old. And I've got 2 9-year-olds, and I forget myself. Like, I'm like, hey, you want to go do this after bedtime? He's like, dude, I got to put the kids to bed. Like, absolutely not. And I just completely, like, when you're not in it, you can forget that.
Yep. 100%. And like the part that I remind myself at least is that I try to remind myself to give the grace that I'd like to receive. Right? I try to think, okay, if someone hasn't heard from me in a while, I really hope that they understand that it's not because I don't love them. It's not because I'm not thinking of them. It's not because they're not important. It's because I'm just really, really swamped or focused or whatever you want to call it with something else over here. And when I give myself permission to think like that about them, I'm hoping that they're thinking that way about me. I've then given myself permission to also believe that maybe they can think that way about myself. And so we can balance that. And at least until I have an opportunity to investigate it, right? To check in about it, to see, all right, hey, we haven't touched base in a while. What's happening, man? Good to see you. Let's grab lunch sometime.
Yeah.
I got availability between
I've got 13 minutes, 3 weeks
over 32nd.
Yeah.
I'm meeting a friend. Yeah.
I was just saying, like, I'm meeting a friend for 45 minutes, like, next week. Like, that's it, 45 minutes. And they've got to go for another appointment. Like, so it's like, it's one of those things where, that could very well get canceled, and but it's important to have that mutual respect, mutual understanding that, you know, life happens and the priorities that we had 10 years ago changed. And you just have to have that understanding and grace and vulnerability to tell somebody what's going on, you know. And yeah, I think those are critical components to like maintaining those relationships over time.
The phone's an interesting tool. At night I'm on, you know, I'm always on my phone. I'm always on my phone. It's like my escape. It's my communication tool. I need to do better with it. I'm conscious of it. But in those moments where I'm not on my phone and I'm really trying to be conscious of like, okay, I need to be present with my family. Like my kids don't need to remember that me as the dad that was always on their phone. Like I can be here. I'm getting it right, you know? Then I feel like the folks that like, I don't know, sometimes it's probably my own internal pressure, but like, because I'm not responding to folks that like, I just feel pulled. I feel pulled with it. And I do know that people are very good and understanding about like, yeah, you'll get back to me whenever you can. Not everyone is like that, but most of the time. But it's an interesting concept how it can really help you communicate more with people, but it can also take us out of the moment. That's not like a new thought. I know.
No, it's not necessarily new, but it's important to talk about, because I don't think like there was a time when we didn't have this technology where we were constantly sort of attached to it. We were, I don't know the right word to say. Attached to it. And somehow sort of bonded to it in a way that we feel guilty for not being responsive to it, right? But in absence of that, like if we're not doing that, then again, we can engage with the people and the space and everything that's around us, including our family and our kids and stuff. Super tempting to do when, you know, when we work in such a society where we're expected to respond. And if we don't, then we've somehow offended somebody, or, you know, so that's important call out, though. It's not a novel thing, but it is important to still talk about. Because I have this terrible fear, and I feel super guilty when my kids like say like, you know, could you put your phone down? Or when they, that's like gut wrenching, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
it's stuff from movies, right? That's like straight out of a damn movie.
Yeah, or if I missed something important because I was looking at my phone, right?
Yeah.
It's just real talk. It happens.
Hell yeah.
And man, that's crushing. So I really try to be cognizant of it, put it down, face it down. And then, you know, if I miss a call, if I miss a text, if I miss an email, life goes on.
Hey, Brett, but you said something beautiful in there, because like the way that you responded to that, I don't know about y'all, it is not the way I would have been responded to as a kid. Right? Your kid, my kid telling me to put the phone down. Like, hey dad, can you put the phone down? Or hey, I thought dinner time was no technology, right? My response being, oh man, you're right, my bad. Like, yeah, let me put that phone away, man. What were we talking about? I'm sorry, what's up? Very different than well, I'm the parent and you're the child, right?
Yeah.
You don't set terms, or you do as I say but not as I do, sort of like so this evolution that we've even seen of what it means to be an authority figure, a parent, but also model the behaviors that we want to instill in our children, and the values that we want to make a part of our family's constitution, right? Part of that, I believe, has become allowing for your kiddos, your partner, anybody inside of that who signed on to that constitution to have a voice in it, and to like voice displeasure, and then be treated with respect as we try to work through it. Very different than being raised, in the 80s, 90s, times before.
Absolutely.
That's true.
Yeah, no,
that's a good point.
I think that's a really good call out. I think millennial dads are doing a really good job, and I know that research points in that direction too. I don't have any statistics, but in terms of being more present, but I also think that comes with a very real guilt that I just wanted to kind of like mention. And it sounds like you guys are both really great at it. Teron, I I love that, and the reason I asked you all to be on this is because I wanted to reach out to people who were humble enough and confident enough in their position as a dad that when they get called out by their kids, they can say like, you know what, you're right. That's a good point. Sometimes my daughter, when she's arguing with me, like, listen, sometimes she's a real like, but sometimes she says something and I'm like, holy shit, like, damn, you're right. Like, yeah, you got kind of a point. Now, I don't say that to her in the moment. Obviously, I'm not going to give her that, but
yeah, crazy.
But yeah, but I think all of that kind of ties back to like knowing yourself, having confidence in yourself, and then like being comfortable enough to tell your kids like, hey, we're all learning, we're all growing. And I think when we talk about these things in this format, or when we go back and talk to our families about these conversations, and normalize the fact that men can be focused on this too. It's not just a wife topic. It's like men are focused on this and thinking about it, and sort of normalizing that behavior. Listen, Teron has to go. I promised him he's probably got another award to accept or something. I've been seeing him bounce all over, but we got time for any sort of, I don't know, hot take or whatever you want. We got some time for that. I should have warned you ahead of time. This is probably coming every time. I would like to dive next episode, though, more into relationships and talk more about communication, because there was a lot of things in communication there that we just kind of skirted over because I feel like we get it right. But I want to talk and speak and call some of those things out for the men who have a struggle with that as well. So any hot takes from you guys? My hot take will be the Timberwolves are going to beat the Warriors in 5.
Go. Teron, you got one? Because I don't want to take up more time for you.
Man, hey, okay. If a tomato is a fruit, then ketchup is a smoothie. I'll die on that hill.
That's a good
Dying
one.
on that hill.
That's a good one. And then that brings up a hot dog sandwich. We don't even need to get into that. We don't have time for the hot dog sandwich talk.
Opinions.
So ketchup is a smoothie. Okay. Cool. Brett, anything?
When you need a taller ladder, just get the taller ladder. Otherwise, you're going to fall on your ass. And let me tell you something. When you bruise your tailbone, that shit hangs on forever. Still hurting. So listen to your wife when she says get a taller ladder.
When it says don't step higher than this, right? When the ladder says, hey, this is the tallest rung or the highest rung I want you to be on, and there are 3 more, know that some science went into that.
Yeah.
I failed. I feel you, bro. I feel you.
All right, guys. Well, thank you for joining us in the men's room. As always, it was a great conversation. It was good to see you guys, and I'll see you in a couple of weeks. Take care.
Love.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us in the men's room. We hope that our conversations leave you feeling empowered, less alone, and ready to show up as a better husband, father, and friend. The men's room is proudly brought to you by Chad Henderson Coaching, your home for honest support, real-life coaching, and a community that gets it. If you're looking for more ways to grow, or if you're curious about how personal coaching can help you step up in life, head over to CoachChadHenderson.com. Until next time, take care of yourself and those around you, and remember, the door is always open here in the men's room.